Hey guys, how's it going? So today I want to talk about the fraud that we're finding out that's happening across America. The Somali fraud down in Minnesota. Um, you know, all the fraud, bro. Like if you don't know by now, you're just not paying attention. Let's just talk about all the fraud, right? Um, as always, I think I have a different perspective than most people, and so I'm just gonna tell you what that is, right? Um, First of all, I cannot be convinced that a group of people from a war torn country that have an average IQ of 80, I believe it's somewhere around there, right? 80, um, just happen to find their way to America and they get here, and within years, they understand the system so well that they're able to rip it off of billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. The vast majority of Americans who live in America, who were born in America, who have been here for generations in America, have no clue how to navigate the welfare system. They have no clue how to navigate or apply for a lot of these programs that exist. They have no clue how to even set up shop. It's so complex, it's so difficult, it's so entwined, let alone to set up a a child care center, a daycare or something, get it, get the government to fund it fully. Like that in itself is not feasible for the average person. It's not even feasible for the average high IQ person because it's so complex. It's a web. It's an unnavigatable and navigatable. You know the word. It's it's a web that just cannot be navigated. It just can't. It's so complex. How do you set up these businesses that are 100% paid by taxpayers? How? How the hell are you a foreigner from another country, India, Somalia, Haitian, Muslim, Arab? How are you a foreigner from another country able to come here and within months, within years, navigate such a complex system to defraud Americans of billions and billions and billions? And I'm going on a limb and I'm going to say hundreds of billions, possibly trillions of dollars, because we're under the assumption right now that this is something that's brand new and it's only been happening for a couple years. I'm going to go on a limb and say this is something that's been going on since the 60s. But it wasn't just done by, Somalians or Arabs or Indians or, I mean, it's been, in recent years, over maybe over the past decade, it's become more prominent with them. But this is something that's been happening within, the black community for the longest time, right? Just not to this extent. This is something that's been happening within a lot of communities within America for the longest time. It's just not to this extent. I think a lot of people see that the window is closing, and so they're trying to rob the train dry. So here's where I land. You cannot convince me that a group of foreigners that can't even speak, read English just happen to end up in America, whether they were brought here or not, right? As asylees, as some people want to say, uh, or whether they came here illegally or legally through visas. You cannot convince me that these people who came here, however they came here, that can't even speak the same language as you and I, were able to navigate this complex web of government red tape and somehow defraud all of the government, all of the taxpayers out of hundreds of billions of dollars, possibly trillions, with no help? I'm calling bullshit. This thing runs so deep that it's not even entailing, it doesn't even include NGOs. You're talking about this runs so deep that it involves governments. It runs so deep that it involves numerous governments. It runs so deep that it involves the United Nations. In my past videos, I've talked about how the United Nations is the enemy of the American people and of America itself. I'm going to say it out loud right here, right now. The United Nations is behind all this fraud. The United Nations partner with the Democrat Party and some of the heads of the Republican Party is responsible for all this fraud. The United Nations is our deep state. The United Nations is our swamp. The United Nations is the enemy of the American people. Not just the American people, but the people of the EU, of all Western countries. The United Nations is the head of the snake. You know, people want to talk about the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds and whatnot. Oh yeah, they're bad people, but they're not the UN. Everybody wants to point out Qatar and Israel and all this. They're not the UN. What they all have in common, guys, is they all have a footprint within the UN, and they all answer to the UN as a whole. And who makes up the UN? A lot of governments. 100 and how many? Let's see. 193 member states. And keep in mind, you don't need, when I say the UN, I'm not saying that every president is navigating to the UN and doing exactly what the UN says, but every country has its own deep state, its own swamp, its own percentage of people, politicians that are willing to sell out their countrymen. And so they go and they represent that state. And these people are people of power and privilege that have been in those positions for so long that they're insulated. They're protected. There's not much that can be done to them because they're made men or women. You cannot convince me that people from a foreign country could go to the EU, anywhere in the EU, America, or any other country, not speak the language, not be able to read the language, but can navigate a system so complex that it requires an entire law firm to be able to set shop and defraud the American taxpayer, and then do it in such a manner where it's brazen and still not be held accountable. You will never convince me of that, ever, because it doesn't exist. That system doesn't exist. It only exists if it has the backing of all-out government officials who are orchestrating the step 1 through step 2000 process that it takes to set up shop. And if this is happening, not just in America, but throughout the EU and a lot of Western countries, well then, who is big enough to navigate such fraud? Who is big enough to move people around, place them in positions, get them set up with shop, and people of knowledge and know-how to start the defrauding process. It's not going to be some member of some NGO, right? It could be a member of a lot of NGOs, but who's backing those NGOs? Guys, everything points to United Nations. The United Nations is our one world government. The United Nations has picked our one world religion for us, and they chose Islam. They chose the Muslim religion. Why? Because it's one of obedience. It's one of where, and I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that is just a good Muslim. I mean no disrespect. But your religion is one of 100% obedience. All religions to some extent are, but yours is the maximalist version. And not only yours, but right next to it is that of Judea. Because in one of my past videos, I openly just stated Muslims and Jews are the same people. They're the same people. They are partnered together. They are the enlisted and officers. The Muslims are the enlisted. They go and do all the dirty grunt work. The Jews are the officers. They call the shots. The Muslims are the foot soldiers. And the Jews are the ones sitting up high in the office pulling the strings. And yeah, you have string pullers on the other side, but that's just the way it works. I'm convinced of that. And so we're being played by many facets. And, I've said this before. The way we fix this is we have to declare all-out war with the entire world. All-out war. We got to put up all our guns. Every single gun, every missile, put it at the ready. Have our military march to the UN building in New York. Handcuff every single person in there. Arrest them all, including our own politicians. Every single one of them that's been affiliated with them. Every single one of them that's pledged allegiance to them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them, past, present, and future, that would participate in a secondary government that's acting as our primary government. They all need to be arrested. They all need to be prosecuted for treason, and they all need to be dealt with because they sold out America. Every single one of them need to be thrown in alligator Alcatraz. I don't care. In the worst prison, send them to El Salvador. We need to demolish that building to the very finest of particles. Put thermite, super thermite, and just melt the shit out of that building. And then we need to seize all the assets of anybody who's ever participated in the UN. Seize all their assets. Every single penny. Leave their families homeless and dry and starving in the street. And then, be like, well, we can provide you with maid services if things are that bad. And give them the option to, give them an out. Give them the Canadian maid option. And for those who don't choose to do that, we can always send a charity, an NGO, with some free drugs, some fentanyl, some free needles to help them cope and live in the streets. Like many good Americans are living in the streets because they fell victim to drug addiction. The point I'm getting at is we should have zero empathy, zero sympathy for these people who have openly sold out our country, who have openly attacked our country through diplomatic means. They all need to be dealt with as war criminals. They all need to be dealt with as people who committed treason, because that's what they have done. They need to be dealt with in the most harshest of penalties ever. I would, for this one-time event, I would allow our government to do public executions on every single person who sold out our country and allowed this invasion and allowed these people to come and set up shop and defraud us of hundreds of billions and trillions. I'm telling you, it's trillions of dollars, guys. We are not $40 trillion in debt to just banks. We are in debt because we have been sold out and all our money is being funneled across the road. These people need to be handled with. All the leaders who participated throughout the world who participated with this need to be dealt with. And they all need to be hung for treason. I know this is going to get me in trouble. This video is probably going to get blocked. I don't care. I don't care. Who cares? My fruit smoothie. It's my breakfast and lunch. Guys, this runs so deep, you have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm able to put A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus G and up until a certain point because it's so complex. It's so sophisticated. If you believe that some low IQ Indians and Somalians and Haitians and every other ethnic group that came within the past 10, 15, 20 years who are unable to speak the language, read the language, can navigate such a complex system and defraud the system of hundreds of billions, possibly trillions of dollars without any government interagency backing, you are a fool. This involves political parties. This involves both political parties. You think Mitch McConnell is in on this? Lindsey Graham? Mitt Romney? You don't think John Thune, Mike Johnson aren't in on this? You don't think Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden aren't in on this? They're all in on it, guys. They are the uniparty. You, as a normal person, are a Democrat. Me, as a normal person, I'm a Republican. Our politicians have no party affiliation. They are D and R only when it comes time to vote. And then once they get elected, they go back to being the uniparty. Do you understand that? When it comes to the TV cameras, they are a Democrat. They are a Republican. Once the cameras are off, they are back to being the uniparty. It is nothing but a show. It is all an orchestrated show. It is all designed to fool you, to convince you that there is resistance. It is designed to make you believe that Democrats are resistance. They are not resistance, guys. They are controlled opposition. The Republican Party is controlled opposition. That is why they hate Trump. Now, granted, Trump is doing a couple things that it's like raising a couple hairs on my neck, right? Getting a little too close to the state of Israel, right? But when you're at wartime, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so I think when you're at a time where you're going up against the road, you got to pick the best enemy out of the enemies. And I'm not saying it, the state of Israel is our enemy. But what I am saying is I don't want any relationship with them. The same way I don't want to have any relationship with the Palestinians. I don't care about either one. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about Russia. I don't care about the EU. I don't care about Mexico. I don't care about Canada. I don't care about none of them. I don't care if their countries burn. I care about America. My kids live here in America. Don't get confused by the color of the skin. I am not a Mexican. I may have blood because my lineage goes that way, but I am here. I was born here. I was raised here. I served in this United States military. This is the country I have allegiance to because this is where my kids live and are being raised. So this is the country that I will do my best to protect. I don't care about Mexico. I don't live in Mexico. My kids don't live in Mexico. They have their own problems. Let them figure out their own problems. They need to have their own citizens stand up and do what's right for them. And if they're too cowardly to do it, then they deserve to burn. And that's just the way I feel. If Americans at any point in time, the vast majority we just become too cowardly, we deserve to burn. But I will be the last person standing. I will be the last person fighting because I refuse to go down without a fight because my kids' freedom and life depend on it. And their future matters more than my life. Their freedom matters more than my life. If God came down today and said, James, I can assure your kids' future, long health, good lives, healthy kids, good women. But you need to sacrifice yourself. And you need to sacrifice yourself worse than death. You need to become a drug addict. You need to become addicted to the worst of worst drugs. You need to live on the streets. Endure the cold. Endure the rain. Endure the heat. You need to endure the loss of consciousness, the loss of spirituality. You need to endure it all until your time finally comes to an end when you're 80 years old. But I will assure your family's existence. They will live long, good, healthy, successful lives with good women, and they will raise their kids, and all their kids will be good people, successful people, happy people. But you need to sacrifice yourself. And this is the life you will live. It is worse than death, because at least in death there is peace. You will have to endure 40 human years through torturous pain and suffering, knowing that your family is living that while you're living here. I would do, guys. Would I want to be part of my kids' life? Of course. Of course. But I want to see them grow up to be men, the men I worked hard to raise, to see their grandkids, to see the prosperity, to see their happiness, their smiles. Of course. But their future matters more than mine. In all due honesty, they are the only things that matter. Nothing else matters in my life but them. And if there was anything I can do to assure that, where I'm the only person impacted, I would do that. And so, if all of you people are too cowardly to stand up and fight, I will fight alone. It's not the first time. I've talked in the past about what happened during COVID. I went through COVID alone. I was the only voice, guys. I was the only voice. When my company, Worldwide Tech Service, on September 27th, I think it was, September 20 something, when we had a or was it August? It was either August or September of the year they did the whole vaccine mandates. When they came out and they said, guys, y'all have until October to get vaccinated or you're fired. And it was a conference call with about 900 people. And then after the conference call, they did the question and answer for people who had question and answers. And they were saying this. I was so angry, guys. I was livid. And so I started pushing one, so I could be the first person to ask a question. And so finally, when they stopped talking, I luckily somehow was the person who got the first question. I got to talk first to the CEO. And what I said is, well, first of all, I just want to make it known that I'm completely against this. I think it's shameful to force people to do something that's against their will just to keep their job. I go, I'm ashamed of my country, I'm ashamed of my government, and I'm ashamed of this company. And so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to get vaccinated. I'm not going to take that shot. So there's no reason to wait until October the 2nd, I think it was. Y'all can go ahead and just fire me today. There's no reason for me to hang around and whatnot. Just go ahead and fire me today, because I'm not going to change my mind. And there's no point of doing this back and forth. If this is where the company lands, I've made my decision. This is my decision. I'm not taking that whatever it is, because it's not a vaccination. It's something. I can't tell you what it is, but it's not a vaccine. Vaccines take 15, 20 years to make. This was made in 6 months. I go, so I'm not going to take that. So y'all can go ahead and just fire me today, because there's no point of waiting until October 2nd, because nothing's going to change. That's what I said, guys. And then the CEO came on, and he's like, well, sorry to hear you feel that way, blah, blah, blah. But we'll go ahead and wait until October 2nd. And then if your choice is still that, then we'll go ahead and separate you from the company. I go, well, all right. Well, I'm not going to change my mind. So at any point in time, you want to fire me from here to there, it's not a problem. Go ahead. I'll get on unemployment for a while, and then I'll just get another job. But I'm not going to change my mind. And then eventually, I think they got the point, and they muted me. October 2nd came. I'm not vaccinated. They were like, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give you to November 5th, I think it was. It was November something. And I was like, guys, I'm not going to change my mind. Just fire me. Go ahead. It's all right. Fire me. I'll get another job. Not a big deal. It's not the only job out there. The amount of hate I got from my coworkers. Emails calling me a bad person, a grandma killer. All types of shit. Grandma killer was the most common. You're gonna kill you're gonna kill people's grandmas, and my response was easy. Your grandma's old. Your grandma's old, bro. How old is she? 80, 90? She's lived a long life. Maybe it's time for her to die. I go, and by the way, if your grandma's that afraid, and she's terrified, and she thinks she's going to die if she steps out the house, unless I take this experimental medication, wear a mask, do 6 foot. If she's that afraid, maybe she shouldn't leave her house. Why am I supposed to do all this to protect your 80-year-old grandma? She's lived a long life. 80 years? She lived through Woodstock, the 50s, the 60s, Woodstock, all that good stuff, the cocaine 80s, in the 90s. Like, those are good times, man. Why do I have to stop my life and do all this stupid shit to protect your 80-year-old grandma who's lived a long life, a long, good life? Maybe your grandma should stop being so fucking selfish. And she should stay the fuck home so she can feel safe so I can live my fucking life. How about that? How about fuck your grandma? How about fuck you asking me, demanding that I stop my life, stop my kid's life to protect your old bitch ass grandma? Fuck your grandma and fuck you. That was my response. Tell your bitch ass grandma to stay the fuck home and stop being so fucking selfish that I have to stop my life and tell my kids no life for you to protect your old bitch ass grandma. Tell that bitch to stay the fuck home. If she's that afraid, tell that bitch to stay the fuck home. And fuck you for demanding the whole road stop to protect your bitch ass grandma. Fuck your grandma. That was my response. I understand, guys. Sounds really cold, right? And trust me, it wasn't one time I said that. It was a lot of times. I told that shit to my wife. She's like, she was like, James, my grandma's birthday's coming up, but she doesn't want the kids or you to come because you're not vaccinated. I was like, Claudia, fuck your grandma. Babe, I love you, but fuck your grandma. If she's that afraid, me and the kids, we'll go do our own thing. You go have your fun. She's like, yeah, but I want the kids to spend time with their grandma. I was like, then tell your fucking grandma to get the fuck over it. Put a fucking mask. Hand sanitize the fuck out of it. Put like a coat, like Vaseline, right? Where it's dripping and shit. The fuck you want me to do? You think I don't care about your grandma, babe. I don't care. You care. She's your grandma. I don't care about her. And we're not going to vaccinate the fucking kids to make your grandma feel good. She's fucking 90. What the fuck is she so worried about? She's going to die anyways. Tell her to calm the fuck down and just enjoy her last days instead of being so fucking selfish and expecting us to accommodate her. How about she fucking accommodate us? She's old. She's lived a long, good life. Why the fuck is it on us to stop everything for the most selfish generation to ever exist? Thus, the fucking boomers are the worst generation to ever exist. They stole everything. The millennials have nothing because of these fucking boomers. Gen Z has nothing because of these fucking boomers. They all have the houses, they have the assets, they have the money, they have the jobs. They will not move the fuck out the way so we can have just a little bit. They are the worst fucking generation to ever exist. And now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to stop my life to protect them? Fuck them. Fuck your grandma, fuck your grandpa. They should all die. And I don't mean that to be a dick, but it's the fucking truth. During COVID, that is what I believed. Why? Because my kids were 4 and 5 at the time. Why the fuck why should they not be able to be playing outside? I sent them outside, go play. The office is calling, knocking on my fucking apartment. Because I'm sorry, your kids can't be playing outside. It's COVID and this. I was like, bitch, are you retarded? Well, we've had complaints. I don't care. I don't care. If they're that afraid, tell them to stay in their fucking apartment. Spray sanitizer on their face and their mouth, up their... That's not my problem. It's not against the apartment policy. We have a lease. Nowhere does it say kids can't play outside. Anyways, there's an anti-eviction moratorium right now. So what the fuck are you gonna do about it? You're gonna write a note? You're gonna make a note on my lease? He did not follow COVID policy. Try to evict me, bitch. You can't. Guess what? After the second, third time, when they realized I could not be bullied, you know what the fuck they did? They stopped coming, they stopped calling, they stopped emailing. The people who kept complaining, they stopped complaining, or if they didn't stop complaining, the office said, there's nothing we can do about it, so don't fucking call us. Because he doesn't care. And the company I work for, they kept extending me. Okay, well, we'll give you till December, but you gotta fill out a waiver. Okay, I'll do a medical waiver. Oh, you can't do a medical waiver. Like, what the fuck? The fuck you want me to do? You can do it under religious. I wrote one sentence. This is against my religion. Boom. Okay, we're gonna extend you to January. Then January. Okay, to February. It's like, guys, how long are we gonna do this? We've been doing this since fucking October. Since September, October. And then finally, after, and I have fucking emails through the wazoo with this general counsel bitch who kept threatening me through email. Well, James, you gotta do it, James. Or we're gonna really, January 1st is the last deadline. I'm like, well then just fire me, general counsel bitch. I've been fucking telling you. If I haven't changed my mind by now, if y'all haven't scared me enough by now to fold, the fuck makes you think I'm gonna bend now? Just fucking do it. Well, we're looking for a replacement for you. Well, fucking look. Like, fuck you want me to do, man? And then finally, April came around. And they gave in. I talked to that general counsel bitch. And she said, hey, James, I know we've been going at it for almost 8 months. But, you know, we want to just go ahead and extend your waiver indefinitely instead of renew it, instead of month to month. We just want to do it indefinitely. And so if you're willing to stay with us, we can do that. I was like, y'all could have just done this 8 months ago and saved all of this. Now I hate you. Now I hate this company. And I hate my government for putting me through this. You understand? There was a time where I believed everything the government said. I was a trusting fool. There was a time I believed everything a doctor said. I was a trusting fool. COVID was probably the greatest thing to ever happen to me. It woke me up. It's like the curtains on a window. I went from like this, being blind, and I thought I saw the full picture. I had no clue what I was in for. I was a trusting fool. But COVID, possibly the greatest thing to ever happen to me. Because no matter how tough and no matter how many fights I have been in throughout my life, I would have never classified myself as a coward. But looking back, if you took away just the physical aspect of fighting and being willing to defend myself and take care of the people I love, mentally, I had cowardly moments. COVID. COVID turned me into a warrior mentally. It doesn't matter how many people you can beat up if you're mentally weak. It doesn't matter how tough you are if you are a mental coward. It doesn't matter. Going full circle, guys. The United Nations is the enemy of the American people. And everybody that participates in the UN and the overthrow of our government to transfer it directly to the UN. They all need to be arrested. All their assets need to be seized. All their wealth, all their money, everything, their shoes, their socks, their underwear. Their family's assets need to be seized because the odds are they received all that money, wealth from the corruption of the UN. I want their entire bloodline to feel the pain. And maybe 2 generations, they can live a normal life. But those bloodlines need to feel the pain, the suffering. They need to feel the curse that they installed upon earth. So that way they can grow to be empathetic towards the plight of human people, normal people, the normies. It is not good enough to punish the first layer. You got to go deep. You got to bleed the entire bloodline, the entire family. Take every single thing with them and then give them a tent and be like, right there, that's a good corner for you. And by the way, we provide maid services if life just gets too hard. An NGO will be around tomorrow with some free needles. So we can, we can ease the transition with a couple drugs. If you don't hate these people, guys, it's because you're not paying attention. And if you don't hate them enough, it's because you're blind and you refuse to see it. You're still looking at Republican, Democrat, and you have to stop. Republican, Democrat only exist for us, the normies. On the politician side, it doesn't exist. There is no such thing as Republican, Democrat. There is a uniparty. And the faster you learn this, the better off we will all be. All of them, guys. Every single member of their family needs to have everything stripped from them. We can carve out exceptions for people who had no direct ties, like family members who had no direct ties. Maybe they just, they were born, but they never associated, they did nothing. But for the most part, almost all of their family need to be treated the same. Everything needs to be taken away. And it all needs to go back to good working Americans. Guys, it's hard not being a coward. There's times where, it's just easier to just repeat what is acceptable. Acceptable. Pick the word. I don't care. It's easier. It's easier to just say what people want you to say. It's easier to just tell them what they want to hear. It avoids a lot of confrontation. It avoids a lot of awkwardness. But when you do that, you're essentially saying you're a bitch. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again, guys. I'm going to do it again. And I'm sorry I'm going to subject you to this. In the great words of Frank Sinatra, for what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Ooh. Fuck yeah. Thank you for your time.